as a self-employed person, I've kind of always had this like dream and this fantasy of having my own office, have it be really beautiful, have this place where I could go every day and feel productive and feel proud of myself. If something is not bringing me 100% joy, I don't want to spend my money on it anymore. I don't want to spend my time on it anymore. Every time you're about to make a big decision, ask yourself, am I confident in this decision, or am I making this decision out of fear? And if it's out of fear, you need to think again. This is the current state of my office. Mega moving mode. The desk is coming back home with me. This table's coming home. The rug is going in storage. This morning, my friend Daria and I were painting this mirror. It's not done yet. It needs another layer of paint, but I think I'm gonna bring this back to the apartment, put it in the bedroom. And then over here, this couch is being sold to someone off of Facebook tonight. I divvied up the plant, the big Monstera that was like, well, 3 times the size of this. One of these is going to go to a subscriber, actually. He's gonna come get it tomorrow. He's moving into a new apartment, and I'm so excited to give him this to like have, and that the Monstera lives on. This other one, I have to give it away to someone, and it needs to get out of here today or tomorrow, so TBD. And then the big one, I think I'm gonna bring back to the apartment. Not 100% sure. This chair is so embarrassing. I bought it brand new, never took it out of the box. I'm gonna see if I can return it because it's very ergonomic and I don't think it's gonna look that good in the apartment. I wanted to make a tea for this Sunday chat, but I have a kettle and no tea left. I already brought all my mugs and stuff back to the apartment. So I'm gonna set up my tripod and we are going to have a good long heart-to-heart chat saying goodbye to this office, moving out and moving on. All right, you guys, if I look a little bit crusty, it's because I am. I did a warm Pilates class today and I didn't feel like showering right away after because I'm gonna do a self-care bath later. So yeah, I'm a little crusty. I'm also really dehydrated. So let's just uncrust a little bit to get started with this video. I'm also gonna close the door. My stupid Stanley Cup spilled on the couch like as I sat down to film, and now my butt's all wet. It's not going well. Here's a few little things I want to say at the beginning of this video. One, I am not broken up with my boyfriend. I feel like every time we see like moving out or like living alone or anything like that, the first thought is like the drama, and people are like, oh my God, did they break up? Like what, moving out? No, I'm moving out of my office, which leads me to point number 2, which is yes, I'm being a little bit dramatic and I'm being I am a very emotional person, okay? I'm very emotional, I'm very sensitive. I think you guys know that about me. From time to time, I'll get comments being like, it's not a big deal. Why are you so emotional? Why are you so dramatic? Why blah, 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 blah. And I think people who are not very sensitive or not very emotional, they can be a little bit judgmental or critical and even shame people who do have a lot of emotions and feel things really deeply. And I've certainly been shamed for that, like literally my whole life. Toughen up, stop being so emotional, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, because my emotions are part of what make me who I am. They make me, you know, my own individual. Of course, there are situations where we do have to reel in our emotions and like manage them, and that I've definitely learned and am learning over time. But situations like this, like I'm allowed to be emotional about it, and we're gonna talk about all of that today because I think for many of you, that's why you come to my channel. Maybe you're emotional too. Maybe you just like hearing about other people's emotions, stuff like that. So welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Zoe, and these are Sunday chats where I just sit down, ramble, unfiltered, unscripted in front of the camera about any type of topic. I usually wait for something kind of topical to pop up, but I know you guys want to see more of these. So if you have Sunday chat topic requests, please leave them down below so that I can just like open up the camera and just like kind of hit record and chat about a subject that you want to hear about. Today, we're going to be talking about moving out. So yes, I'm moving out of my office. This has been a bit of a saga on my channel, and it's just been a chapter of my life. It's been a year, and I wanted to like say goodbye because yeah, I'm feeling a little bit emotional. I'm feeling a lot of mixed emotions, but I'm also excited about what's next. you guys were with me on the journey of moving in here, so I thought it would be interesting to just kind of wrap it all up and talk about like what's next as I'm moving out. So these Sunday chats, they're always very unfiltered and very unscripted. I do have a few bullet points that I want to hit today. So I want to tell you guys just like the story of this office, how I came to the decision to leave. I want to talk about changing your mind and feeling like a failure, making difficult decisions, that kind of thing. And then lastly, I want to talk about what's next and also my budget, because this takes up a lot of my money. And you know, we're going to talk about money and like what I plan to do next with my budget. So diving in, starting with the story of this office. So 1 year ago, I moved in with my boyfriend. We moved in together, and I, you know, gave up my apartment. That again, that apartment, like I was very sentimentally attached to. I had lived there for 3 or 4 years. It was a big, beautiful loft apartment, but I was just getting sick of it towards the end. Even if I didn't move in with my boyfriend, I think I would have moved apartments anyways. It was just like a really big space, really hard to keep clean, but it was also really, really cool because as one person, it was a loft. So I had an elevated like mezzanine where there was a bedroom. So it's pretty rare as like a young person, as a single person living like alone, to have a bedroom, an office, a living room, and a kitchen. Like I really had a big divided apartment. It was pretty expensive, not because the rent was so expensive, but because it was a big loft and I had to pay for the electricity and the heating. Sometimes it would be like $500 a month in extra bills. So I was just like sick of it and I was ready to leave. And then I was also ready to take the next step with my boyfriend and have us live together. The thing is, we were moving into a 1-bedroom apartment, smaller than the apartment that I was coming from, just because of that mezzanine. He was working from home every single day, and I'm self-employed and work from home, film videos. I do copywriting as well. So I felt like I wanted to live with him, but I also wanted to have my own space for work, because for his job, he's on the phone all day, like meetings, and I'm like filming, and it's really, really distracting. I get really easily distracted by noise. So we were looking for an office, and we found this one. It was like kind of like a miracle office, because commercial spaces, you guys, are so expensive. And then here there was, reasonably distanced from my new apartment, a big space that would look so beautiful on camera, perfect for filming. I could have a couch set up, I could have my desk, like I could really have my dream office. And I think as a self-employed person, I've kind of always had this like dream and this fantasy of having my own office, have it be really beautiful, have this place where I could go every day and feel productive and feel proud of myself and work and do everything. And I could also bring my dog, which was like a deal breaker. Like this office came at the perfect time, at the perfect price, perfect size, everything. So I was so happy and excited when I found it. I moved in here March of 2023, so 1 year ago pretty much. I was really happy when I moved in, and the funny thing was that this office also served as kind of like a transition space between going from living completely by myself to living with a partner, because it really is an adjustment. I brought over a lot of old furniture from my apartment that I was like attached to, and this kind of became like my special sacred place. And I remember like if I would get like annoyed with JS, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to my office. Like I had this kind of like thing, and he would come here too. If he like wanted to work on the weekend, or like we wanted to give each other space, like we would both come and use this office. However, as much as it was beautiful and cozy, I quickly realized that it really wasn't good for what I needed it to be, which was a filming space. I really had this dream of getting like a neon sign, and I would film my videos here, but the problem is, and they warned me about this from the beginning, is that it's really, really not soundproof. Today is Saturday and nobody's here, but normally when people are here, if they're on the phone, if I'm talking, if they're on the phone, you just hear everything as if they were standing right next to you. So it became really, really difficult, and I quickly learned like I can't film here. So already, you know, a big chunk of my tasks I was back doing at home. And then even when I was here for admin work, sometimes the noise would bother me, but sometimes I liked the noise because I work very alone. Like I'm like independent in my work, I guess. I don't have like colleagues or collaborators. From time to time I'm on calls, but it's pretty rare. Like most of the time it's just me and my bubble. So I kind of liked the noise. I liked the action. When I first got this office, I was coming here every single day. I was staying from morning to night. There was a restaurant downstairs where I would buy lunch, I would buy coffee. I would leave my laptop here. I'd close my laptop, lock the door, and go home. And I really had this separation, and it was fantastic. But again, once I had to start filming at home, I started coming here less. I started working from home more. The restaurant downstairs closed, and then suddenly there was like nothing to eat, no coffee like that you needed in a pinch. Everything else was like and really, really expensive. So it just kind of lost some of its luster. Another thing that happened was construction started next to the building, and I would walk past the construction workers every day in the summer, and I would just feel really, really self-conscious. It happened one day where one of them like came up to me and made a comment, and I felt so uncomfortable walking to work after that it just like really put a bad taste in my mouth. These little things started happening that like slowly but surely they piled up, and I wasn't enjoying the office as much anymore. There was also an issue with one of the pipes leaking. It didn't leak on my desk, but it leaked like next to it, and they came in to repair it, and it like never really got fixed, and it was just kind of like this like annoying thing, but I never made a really big deal out of it. The other thing too was in the summer it would get so hot in here, like so hot. Like my camera, if I did try and film, because sometimes I would come in on the weekends to try and film, but then it was like I never had my weekends off because I was having to film every single weekend. But I would try and film here and my camera would overheat because it was so hot and humid. It's like a really old building, which is its charm and it's what makes it really beautiful, but it just also makes it very impractical. So I started wondering if I should give up the office, and I think the first reason was like, I want to save money. Like I want to save money, I should get rid of the office. And then going back and forth on that, there were many elements. Like first of all, because I'm self-employed, this office is 100% business write-off. So every single month that rent accumulates, and the total rent for the year is something that I can take off of my taxable income. It lowers my taxable income. So that doesn't mean it's free, but it means that the office doesn't cost me as much as it looks like on paper. And we'll talk about that later. So when I did the calculation for like the true cost of the office, it came out to about $500-600 a month, which is not really bad. So I was like, okay, for $500-600 a month, it gives me a place to go. You guys know the story, or if you don't know the story, with my dog Maggie, we're currently working through some separation anxiety struggles. So at the moment and at the time, she couldn't stay alone like for an hour, let alone all day. So I needed a place to get out of the house. Otherwise I was just shut in the apartment with her all day. So I was going back and forth. Don't make any rush decisions. And you guys like heard me going back and forth a lot in my videos. At Christmas time, I decided, no, I'm gonna stay. I don't wanna make decisions just out of saving money. I don't wanna live in that mindset all the time of like, I need to cut costs, I need to be cheap. Like I'm not worth spending money on myself. Like obviously it's good to save money, and obviously it's good to make good financial decisions. And you guys know that, you know, I think about that a lot and I'm very cautious of that, but sometimes it's okay to spend on ourselves. So I was like, look, if $500-600 a month is the cost for me to feel happy, feel productive, get out of the house, because although I couldn't film here, I was still coming here to edit, I was coming here to do copywriting. At Christmas time, I decided to revamp the space. So I ordered a new desk, the standing desk, and I ordered the chair that's still in a box. I set up the standing desk and I moved it to a different place, like right in front of where I'm filming right now. I had it up for about a week, and then I came in on a Monday and there was dried, rusty water drips all over the table, like all over the desk. It was like little red marks. And you guys, I just lost my mind. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I can't be here anymore. And I completely forgot to tell you guys about the smells. So in the fall, they let in a new tenant who was doing some manufacturing, and they were manufacturing like, think Bath and Body Works, okay? Every time I came to the office, instant headache. It smelled like a Bath and Body Works in here, and I was complaining and they weren't doing anything about it. That was really horrible. I was pretty friendly with my across the hall neighbors, and they ended up leaving because of the smells, because like they just couldn't work. They had employees and stuff. And so that once again started getting the wheels turning of like, should I leave, blah, blah, blah. They ended up leaving, the people who were manufacturing stuff ended up leaving. So I was like, fine, I'm gonna stay. It's gonna be fine. Ordered the furniture. Then, like I said, the drops were absolutely the last straw. And I was just like, I want out. I want to get out of here. And the more I started thinking of getting out, the more I really set my mind to it. And I started imagining all of the possibilities, all of the things I could do and ways that I could just kind of still get out of the house. Like just because I don't have an office doesn't mean I have to lock myself in my house. Like I can make an effort to get out of the house and feel happy and still feel productive in new ways. So I really set my mind to that, and that's when it was like final straw. The last update I gave you guys was basically that I had asked to leave and that they were my landlord wanted to charge me some fees because, once again, you guys, this is a commercial lease. I think a lot of people probably aren't familiar with commercial leases, and they were like, how can they do that? How can they charge you that? Commercial lease, they can do anything they want. They can raise your rent double. If your rent is $500 a month, when your lease expires, they can charge you $1,000. Like they can do whatever they want. So when I told them I wanted to leave, they were like, sure, you just have to pay a $500 plus tax fee and your rent until we find someone to take over. And I was like, no, like you guys haven't provided like a really good working environment. I don't want to pay that fee. I don't want to pay the rent. Like, let me out March 1st. And I realized I was being a bit demanding. I know, in negotiations, sometimes you have to ask for too much and then you guys work your way and meet in the middle. So it was a really like kind of grueling process because they would take like 4 days to reply to every single email. I sent them a list with like all of the problems, this pipe leaks, that pipe leaks, the smells, like blah, 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 whatever. I'm not like trying to trash talk them. I'm literally just telling you guys what happened. So finally my like kind of last offer was like, I'll pay you the admin fee of $500 plus tax, but like you let me out March 1st. And yesterday morning, Friday morning at 7 a.m., I got an email being like, okay, we found someone to take over your office for March 1st. So we'll just deduct the fee from your security deposit and like you can leave. The thing is, I'm going to Florida this week. So I literally only had this weekend to move. But the cool thing is that when I decided I wanted to move, I really set my mind to it. And I was like, even though they're kind of saying no right now, even though they're giving me a hard time, I'm going to move. So I sold a bunch of furniture and I really acted as if I was moving to make things speed along faster. And it worked because I'm ready to go. Like I'm selling this couch tonight, like I said. The desk, there's not much to do. We just got to clear everything out and then I'm out of here. So yeah, I'm losing money in terms of the $500 administration fee, and I'm losing half a month's rent plus insurance in that I'm not going to be here for the end of the month, but I would have lost that anyways, even if I had stayed because I was leaving. So I'm so glad I tried having an office. I think a lot of YouTubers, I've seen a lot of YouTubers try and get an office and then they realize it's just not for them. It's really hard to find a space where you can film that's like not your home. It's really, really difficult because when you're filming, like you project your voice. I talk louder when I'm filming than I talk in a normal conversation. Also for me, given like I talk a lot about like emotions and stuff like that, I want to have privacy because it's like kind of awkward if like, they're making sales calls beyond the wall and I'm like, oh guys, today I'm so sad. So the privacy, like just nothing compares to being in your home. I want to talk about feeling like a failure a little bit because I felt like such a winner when I got this office. I felt like such a winner and I felt like it was like a dream come true and a fantasy come true. And I felt so proud of myself that, 1 year after being laid off and taking a chance on myself and going the self-employed route, like I could afford to have an office. I felt so proud of myself, and I still am really proud of myself. And it's not an issue it's not that I can't afford it. It's just, I don't want to spend my money on this anymore because it's just, there's other things I'd like to spend my money on. But saying goodbye is difficult. And yeah, part of me is like, why couldn't you make it work? Like, why, maybe you didn't try hard enough. And it's all just really silly. Another part of me definitely worries, not so much about like what people on YouTube think, but like my peers. Worrying that they're going to be like, oh, she must not be doing well because she's moving out of her office. Like, oh, her business must be struggling, like whatever. And it's like, who cares? Like, who cares? It's not necessarily true. I'm actually doing better this year than I was last year, but businesses do have up and downs, and that's also nothing to be ashamed of. So I know all of these are just negative thoughts that like I just have to deal with. Making hard decisions can be tricky, and I think especially like I talked about at the beginning of the video, like me being very emotional, I do have a hard time making decisions, and I really struggle in between making a decision, or like when you're waiting for a change, the change hasn't happened yet, I definitely struggle. Something that helped me make is I was kind of comparing this office to a relationship, and it was like, okay, it looks really good. It looks good from the outside, but I'm only happy here like 50% of the time. And so I'm like, okay, if that was a person, if I was dating a person who was very beautiful or very handsome, and other people thought we looked cute together, but I was only happy in the relationship half of the time, would I stay in a relationship with that person? No, you wouldn't, right? You want to be happy in your relationship 100% of the time. And obviously, real estate is not a relationship, it's not a human being. But that was kind of the framework I had for making the decision of like, where you live, where you work, whatever, I do believe that you deserve to be happy 99.9% of the time. Of course, there's going to be days when, you know, our home pisses us off, or our office pisses us off, or our significant other pisses us off, or friends or parents, whatever. Everyone, things can bother us, but you want to be like sure of your decisions. And I think it's the same for like your home, where you live. You want to be like, yeah, I'm comfortable, I'm safe here. So that was kind of what I thought with the office. Nothing is stopping me aside from budget, I guess, to get another office, because there's a reason this office is so cheap. That's the thing. This office is so cheap. Not a lot of other cheap offices like it exist. And there's a reason this office is cheap. It's because it's in an old building, the pipes leak, it's noisy, it's hot, like that's why it's cheap. I looked at WeWork, it's very, very expensive. There's other office spaces around. The most common problem is the price, and also that they don't accept dogs. So I'm gonna try working from home for a little bit, see how it goes. And then I do believe that if I'm meant to have another office space, the perfect one will appear. The other thing, you guys, is I feel like I'm really in this mode lately where I think a lot about the future. I'm not ready to have a house like tomorrow, and I'm not ready to leave the city like tomorrow, but I think in a few years I'm gonna start kind of getting towards there. I know it's crazy, but like I think a lot about like my future family and like future home, future kids, like stuff like that. I don't know if it's just like my age or like my hormones, like I don't know what it is. But when I think about those things, I think, well, I'm gonna need money for those things. And I feel like I wanna start saving a lot more money and being really aggressive with my savings so that I can kind of be prepared for the future, because kids are expensive and homes are expensive, and you know, life is just expensive, that if something is not bringing me 100% joy, I don't want to spend my money on it anymore. I don't want to spend my time on it anymore. And that's just like a very mature decision, I guess. And it's like kind of boring. You know, it's like when you're young, you just go out for drinks, you go out for cocktails, like you go have fun. And now I'm in this like, must be serious, like think about the future mode. But the future also excites me. So like to me, it is fun, and like thinking like, okay, I'm saving for like my future home, and like I'm gonna fill it with furniture, and it's gonna be so cozy, and like I hope it's near water. Like I think of all those things. So it's like, okay, making a small sacrifice now so that I can really live my dream life later, I think it's worth it. So that's kind of that on feeling like a failure and making hard decisions. That's how I came to this decision. Now, the last thing I want to say on that, I think it's kind of funny, is when I was moving in here, I had weird gut feelings. So yeah, let's talk about intuition. When I was moving in here, I had weird gut feelings of like, this is for right now. This is not permanent. There's things that are going to bother you. Like all of the alarm bells in my body and my mind, they all kind of were like alerting me to like, you're going to do this. It's not going to be perfect. You're going to want it to be perfect, but like, you're going to go ahead with this. Like I kind of knew from the jump, as they say. My best friend Camilla told me about another YouTuber, Jamie Page, who had gotten an office in a similar old building, and she had to move too because the pipes were bothering her. And I remember when Camilla told me that, I was like, I won't be like that. I don't care about the pipes. And it's like, yeah, bitch, you care about the pipes. They're fucking annoying. The other reason, I totally forgot to say this, you guys, the other reason why it's been a year, but my contract and my lease isn't up is because I extended my lease. So when I was signing the contract for this place, the contract was that 3 months before the end of my lease, I need to let my landlord know if I'm staying or leaving, and they will let me know what the rent increase will be. Like I said, because it's a commercial lease, that rent increase could have been $100 a month. It could have been $200 a month. It really could have been a very high increase, where compared to a residential lease increase, at least here in Quebec, you know, it could have been maybe 50, 60 bucks, but it could have been much higher given that it's a commercial lease. So that scared me. And I was thinking to myself, if I stay, I don't want the rent to go up. Like, this is really the max that I'm willing to pay. So I made a deal with them that after 3 months of working in the office, I would let them know if I wanted to extend my lease by another 6 months to lock in a cheaper rate longer. So they agreed. 3 months went by. At that point, I was still enjoying the office, but already the annoyances had started to creep in, and they reached out. They said, do you want to extend your lease? And I remember agreeing to the lease extension and my intuition being like, you shouldn't do this. Like, you don't need to do this right now. I don't think you're gonna like all of my intuition was saying no, but I didn't listen. I went ahead and did it. And that's why I'm in this situation where I have to pay the $500 fee to get out. Had I listened to my intuition, I would have just been leaving at the end of this month, and that would have been that 500 bucks extra in my pocket, no problem, all good. And also no headache, because since the incidents with the water droplets on the desk, since like I've been stressed since then because I've been going back and forth and trying to negotiate my way out of here. So had I listened to my intuition, I would have saved myself a headache, and I would have saved myself 500 bucks plus tax. I'm currently listening to an audiobook about personal finances, and one of the tips was like, do not make decisions out of fear. And I heard that, and then I was reflecting on this whole situation, and I was like, oh my gosh, like me making a decision out of fear, me being afraid of the rent increase, cost me a headache, and it cost me $500 plus tax. Had I not extended the lease, had I not been afraid, had I been confident, I could have seen what the increase would have been, accepted or rejected it, negotiated, and I know approximately what the increase would have been because I saw how they listed this office online to rent it out. The increase would have been about $50 a month. So I would have had to stay here for 10 extra months at that new rent to incur the same cost as I did now just paying to leave. So that is how much my fear cost me. My fear cost me $500 plus tax and a big headache. Really important lesson. Listen to your intuition. Don't make decisions out of fear. I think, listening to our intuition a lot of the time, that's kind of in hindsight, you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I should have done that. But not making decisions out of fear is something that we can remember in the moment. Every time you're about to make a big decision, ask yourself, am I confident in this decision, or am I making this decision out of fear? And if it's out of fear, you need to think again. I really, really learned that lesson. I try and think of everything in life as like learning a lesson, because why not? But this whole office situation was a really big lesson for me. It was also like the insurance is really expensive here. Having like commercial insurance, way different than residential. Negotiating the lease, way different. And I had to like put my big girl pants on, as they say, and like step up and negotiate and not get pushed around. And I did get pushed around a little bit, but I'm in the end, like, yes, it's annoying to pay $500, but I'm just happy to be moving out of here and moving on and just like entering like a new chapter for myself. So what is that new chapter? So glad you asked, you guys. A big thing that was holding me back of getting rid of this office was like, well, I can't go work from the library and I can't go work from a cafe because of Maggie and her separation anxiety. But then I kind of decided, rather than actually letting that hold me back, that should light a fire under my ass to train my dog. It's been such an on and off, like, emotional roller coaster training her and dealing with her separation anxiety. And I'm gonna talk about all of that. Like, I'm already visualizing her being trained and me making a video like this about my experience having a dog with separation anxiety, but I shouldn't adjust my life to this. I should light a fire under my butt, because separation anxiety is treatable. It is. Like, I know it is. my own fear and my own emotions surrounding it have stopped me from doing the trainings with her. So instead of being like, I need to keep this office and pay $600 a month, blah, 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 it's like, no, I'm gonna spend my time training her so that I can go out to a Pilates class or a spin class or to a cafe or to the library. Like, I'm gonna do that so that I can live my life. So that's one. Step number one is getting Maggie trained. The other thing is that I don't think she'll ever be the type of dog who can stay home alone for 8 hours a day, and that's okay. But with the new money that I have back in my budget, I can send her to doggy daycare once, twice, 3 times a week for literally the same price as this office. So I could send her to doggy daycare every day from Monday to Friday, and I could go out and work from a coffee shop every day from Monday to Friday for less money than it cost me to have this office. And that's like you know? I think in the beginning, I didn't want to go for that because I was like, no, I know myself, like I'm not going to want to spend the money. But as time has gone on, I'm like, spend the money, Zoe, spend the money, because like today I went to a Pilates class. I feel so good afterwards. I felt so happy. So it's like, yeah, it's worth spending the money. Like if things are bringing you value, if they're truly bringing you value and making your life better, it's okay to spend money. So I've decided to enable myself. In getting rid of this office, I'm going to enable myself to live my days more reflective of what is my dream life. This office really became just like an extension of my home with like my old furniture and everything, that even though, yes, I was getting out of the house every day, it's like I was getting out of one house to go to another house. That's kind of how it ended. Like I literally walk around in slippers, okay? It was one house to another house. So now I'm gonna enable myself to go to the cafe, go to a spin class, maybe go out for lunch, maybe not, just be out and about a little bit more. And I'm really excited by that. And that is something that I haven't had since COVID, because I got Maggie during COVID. So it's like, while the rest of the world like went back to normal, like I stayed in like a semi-COVID state, and I'm really excited to exit that semi-COVID state. The other thing is I'm so blessed to have a flexible schedule and to have a flexible job, but I don't take advantage of it. I lock myself in this office from 9 to 5 every day because I feel like I need to follow this like strict schedule, when like I'm so lucky to have the jobs that I have, and I've worked really hard to have these jobs and to have this flexibility, that like I do deserve to take advantage of it. I don't have to be in an office all day or be at home all day. So before we talk about the numbers, I want to tell you guys like what's on my menu, kind of like what's on my wish list of things that I would potentially spend my money on. And then I actually want to take like pen to paper. There's water on this from where I spilled the Stanley Cup, but I want to take pen to paper and like do some calculations of like what actually fits in the budget, that kind of thing. Water break. There's nothing left because it's all on my couch. On the menu of things I would like to do: hot Pilates, hot bar. I have a pack of classes at a studio called Enso here in Montreal. I think I've had this for 2 years and I've never been able to use it up because I just haven't had, you know, the time to go like, okay, I'm gonna blame it on Maggie because of Maggie. So using up those classes. I really wanna get into reformer Pilates, and I think, you know, given that I'm giving up this expense, that is something like maybe once a week I could add into my budget. That I'm interested in. And I'm also really interested in hot yoga once I use up my hot bar Pilates, because there's also yoga there, but I don't like yoga. That's so picky. I don't like yoga at that studio. I want to go to a different studio. So fitting in like one paid workout class a week. Because I work at a gym, you guys, I get free bar classes and spin classes. So that's like a really amazing perk of working there. But I do think like switching it up, adding like a reformer or a hot yoga, something that I can't get at my gym, and paying for that once a week, maybe buying like a bundle so that I lower the individual cost. That is on the menu for adding into the budget. Going out for coffee and maybe lunch once a week for a work session is on the budget, is on the menu. Also, that's on the menu that is free is I really want to go around and check out different public libraries in Montreal and like find the best ones to work from, maybe somewhere where there's like a cheap cafe nearby, or I could bring my own lunch, like finding also thrifty ways to get out of the house and like not have to spend money every time. Definitely on the menu is sending Maggie to doggy daycare probably once a week. I think, you know, like I talked about, like I am so money conscious that I don't want to just spend everything, but I think once a week doggy daycare is like reasonable, and like my mind can wrap my head around that expense. Because it's one thing to like pay a lump sum for your rent, even if it's higher than individual purchases. But I find the individual purchases like tend to hurt more. It's like, do you really need to buy this coffee? Do you really need to send her to doggy daycare? It's like, yes. But anyway, within reason. What else is on the menu? Those are the main things on the menu, you guys. But the other thing that's on the menu is working less. I don't think I'm gonna do it, but the other thing about this office that's kind of funny is like, okay. The on paper cost of this office was $750 for the rent and taxes, and then another $100. Was it $100 or $150? It was $100. In total, this office cost me $850, $100 for insurance. So $850 a month. For my copywriting job, which I always came here to do copywriting, and I was like, I'm so productive at the office doing my copywriting. I would make anywhere from $1,000 to $1,250. Sometimes all the way up even to $1,600 a month doing copywriting. But let's just say, like, let's round down and say I make $1,000 a month at copywriting. I'm paying $850 to make $1,000. How does that make sense? That means that my net paycheck from copywriting is $250. It's not even worth it. Like, it's not worth it. I'm working to pay rent to work. Does that make sense? So on the menu is actually working less. Like, now that my costs are going down, I could work less if I want to. Now, I like working. I'm a bit of a workaholic. I like my jobs. So I don't think I'm gonna on purpose work less, but it does put less pressure on me to have such high expenses to meet every single month. And it does obviously mean more money in my pocket. So now let's crunch some numbers, you guys. So like I said, $850 is the on paper cost of this office. Now, I did do the calculation to figure out, like, with the taxes, what is more the true cost. It's anywhere between $500, $600 a month. So it seems like I'm saving $850 a month, but in reality, it's more like $500, $600 a month because I'm not getting that tax benefit anymore. So in order to play it safe, let's go with the lower number, okay? Let's do $500 a month. So I now have an extra $500 a month in my budget, and all of those things on the menu. Now, right now we're just brainstorming, okay? When I finally do finalize the budget, I will like officially tell you guys in one of my money videos, but I think the reasonable thing to do here would be maybe to split it 50-50. So take advantage of this and have an extra $250 to save every single month and spend another $250. So let's say $250 we save and $250 we spend. I think the savings should go to my TFSA. I want to keep my RRSP goal the same because I had set it as if I'd be paying office rent. So now I have like a bonus amount of money that can go to my TFSA. So that's something that I could put on auto deposit. Like every first of the month, instead of paying my rent, maybe that automatically goes to my TFSA. That's exciting. Let's do a quick calculation. 250 times 12, an extra $3,000 to my TFSA every year. Amazing. Okay, so I need to look up how much the doggy daycare costs because I actually can't remember, because until Maggie is really trained, this is like my golden ticket to leaving the house. Okay, it's $40. It's expensive. It's $40 plus tax. But this is the best daycare, you guys. They go to a dog park and they play. It's a private dog park. They play outside all day. She comes back and like she's dead. So $40 plus tax is 46 times 4 if we did it. Oh my God. So if we do it once a week, it costs me $184 a month. That's almost all of my $250. That's the thing, like with the office, like it's like, wow, you're gonna save almost $1,000 per month. And then it's like, oh wait, no, it's actually more like 500. Oh, and I'm gonna save part of it and then the rest to spend. Like I don't have that much left to spend. So $184 a month. Let's say I do one bonus workout class a week and it costs me $20. That's $80. So 184 plus 80. That's already over 250. So that's 264. So maybe I'm not gonna do an extra workout class. Maybe I'll do one extra workout every other week or something like that, right? Because I should just take advantage of the free classes that I have. So let's say it's like a workout class or a coffee. $500 goes quickly, you guys. I'm a bit stumped right now. But I do think sending Maggie to the doggy daycare once a week is gonna be really important and really helpful. If I do 200 to my savings and I give myself that extra 50, that's like the money that I need to do the classes and like have a coffee afterwards or whatever. it's definitely gonna be a bit of trial and error. Like I can't sit here right now, like as I'm in the middle of moving and be like, concrete, this is what it's gonna be from now until the next life change. But I think it's really what it's gonna be for now. An extra $200 to $250 a month in savings going towards my savings. I'm gonna have to save extra for my taxes. That's really important because I'm not having this big tax break anymore. And then the rest, once a week, Maggie goes to doggy daycare. Or if I don't have a workout class plan, if I don't have, you know, a reason to leave the house, I just won't send her that week. But I think it's like, I'm gonna book them in advance, pay for them in advance, and it's gonna be really good. I definitely feel so much better after filming this video. I've been in such an emotional state, just like going back and forth on this decision. I asked the universe for a sign when I moved in here. I asked the universe for a sign to show me a butterfly, and the universe took a really long time to give me that sign. They gave it to me like after I already signed a lease, and I remember being like, that's not how a sign is supposed to work. You know, like after you're like, I need a sign to make this decision, and then the sign comes after you made the decision. And when I was looking to leave, I asked the universe, show me a butterfly if I'm meant to leave. I just realized there was a butterfly in the movie I watched the other day. It didn't even click at the time. I was watching You Got Mail. I said, show me a butterfly if I'm meant to leave. And anyway, if that is my butterfly, if that is my sign, once again, I got it after the decision has been made. I'm shook right now. So on that note, you guys, this video was all over the place, and like I know how silly I am, like being this girl making this 45-minute video with all of her emotions about an office. It's pretty fucking privileged of me. It is. Anyway, you guys, thank you for watching this Sunday chat. I love sharing my thoughts and my rambles with you guys. I know you guys enjoy these videos, so thank you so much. If you made it to the end, comment a butterfly. Let's get more butterflies going. Comment a butterfly if you watched all the way to the end. Also, don't forget to let me know any requests of Sunday chats you guys have. Hope you're having an amazing day. Oh my God, also let me know what you're doing, what you're up to, what day it is while you're watching. So many comments, okay? I'm sorry, I can't stop touching my hair in this video. It's probably really irritating. So many comments, okay? I love you guys truly from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being on this journey with me. So many more vlogs and videos to come. So I will see you then. Bye.